Hello gorgeous, I am back today, and today I want to talk to you about how to be expensive. No, we're not talking about clothing, shoes, and handbags and things like that, although you know I love that stuff, and I do talk about that more on my other channel, so you can go follow me there. Today we're talking about how to be expensive. So in order to share this with you, I have to tell you a story from a point of my life where I wasn't very expensive and I had very low standards and very low self-worth at this point in my life. And my mother shared something with me that completely changed my life. You know that my mom was like uber ultra savage, and the things that would come out of her mouth would often trigger people, but then they would also like have the biggest transformations. So this was to kind of set the scene. This is a time in my life, I'm in my early 20s. I just had a baby, going through a divorce, full-time student, and full-time business. So to say that I was like overwhelmed would be like the understatement of a lifetime, right? Like it was all like crashing down on me. I was like at my lowest, I was at rock bottom. And to add insult to injury, I had relatives and family friends that I had known for a really long time kind of talking about me, right? Like divorce is really looked down upon in my culture. And so anyways, there was a lot of gossiping and things going on about me at this time. And I was kind of embarrassed for my parents that they were having to go through this, I felt like, on my account. So I remember just sitting in my mom's office and just feeling really, really down and low, and just being in that like kind of victim mode of like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going through all of this. And on top of this, I can't believe like all of these relatives, which like literally you support. My mom was like supporting them financially, and then they're going around like talking stuff about me. And my mom had this attitude, which it was like no empathy, no compassion, just straight like giving it to you, right? And so she looked at me and she said, become expensive. And I'm like, what the F does that mean, right? And she's like, just become expensive. She said, I want you to get to a point where these people that are talking about you, they have to go through your security guard, your assistant, pay lots of money, make an appointment with you, and then they get to have an opinion in your life. That's what it takes for them to even be sitting face to face with you. Elevate yourself so high that the only way to get to you is through all of these different tiers. So at that time, it was something that I heard, but it didn't like penetrate me or register on a deep level. It happened a few more times where I got myself in that victim mode, and then it hit me, right? The fact that they had my energy, the fact that I was even noticing the stuff that they were saying, the fact that I was like embarrassed for my parents and like feeling shame for my family because of what they were saying, meant that I wasn't expensive. Like my energy was down at that time, right? So in this period of my life, I was like avoiding family parties. Like I was avoiding things where I would have to deal with these people. So when it hit me what my mom had just said, I completely changed my attitude about the whole thing. And the next time a party came up, like a family gathering, I would like dress up in the nicest clothes, do up my makeup, put on my like best shoes, my handbag, right? Like I was always like, you know, into dressing up and things like that. And I would show up at the party, and then when I would hear someone saying, oh, you know, to my mom, like, Sheena, where's Mina? I haven't seen Mina. Kind of like, you know, letting my mom know that like they knew about what was happening with me, right? And instead of hiding, instead of like not showing up, I would come up behind my mom and say, hello, auntie, here I am. How are you? And to give her a hug and be in a really like high state. And the first few times I did this, I could tell they were shocked. It was just like this aura of like, oh, she's here and she's looking fabulous. I remember this one time my aunt, my mom told me, she's talking about you. She keeps looking over here. You know, she's saying this and this and this. And I glanced over at her, and she's literally like making her way through the entire, like this was at a big like banquet hall. She's like making her way right towards me. She's looking at me. So I take a deep breath and I get myself into that like high vibration state. And she comes up to me and I'm like, hello, auntie, how are you? You look lovely, fabulous. And she's looking at me. She's looking at my makeup. She's looking at my jewelry. She's looking at my outfit. And for a split second, she forgot what she was gonna say. Like I could see it in her that she was so stunned with my attitude, my energy, the way that I was dressed, that she literally forgot what she was gonna say. And then she said something about, you know, bringing up all the stuff that I was going through. And I'm like, yes, you know, it happens. I'm glad that it hasn't happened to your daughter and she's happy, but sometimes these kind of things happen in life. And the fact that I had brought her daughter into it, like all of a sudden she's like quiet, turns around, walks away. I look at my parents and they're both like, she came here with a completely different attitude and she was stunned when she saw you, like close up, your energy, what you're wearing and everything. That's the attitude that I embodied from there on in. And the funny thing is that my mom's words actually became reality for me, because now in order for anyone to have an opinion in my life, for me to even hear it, they would literally have to go through my team, pay thousands of dollars, schedule an appointment, wait for the appointment, and then be face to face. So this is what I want you to have in your attitude. Yes, this has become a physical reality in my life now, but it started with a metaphysical reality, an energy reframe, right? Like my mom's transmission literally changed me. So I have another example of this, which is like cringe, but I want to share this with you. So when I first started this business in 2017, I had this, actually this was in early 2018. I had launched my first business course. At this time I had other courses, but there was this wanting to be entrepreneur woman that was in one of my courses, and she was messaging me saying, Mina, I really need this help. I need this, like I need a session with you. I can't afford your sessions. My sessions were really cheap at the time. So it was like $150 for an hour. So like they were totally affordable, especially for an entrepreneur. But anyways, she was like literally I felt like begging me for a free session. So I'm like, you know what the hell? She bought this course, bad idea, but I give her this free 30-minute session. Oh my God, like I'm cringing even thinking about this. So she shows up on this free session and I didn't know this, but she had booked the session not to learn more about how she can be a better entrepreneur and make money in her business. She had booked the session so she could criticize what I wear. So this woman thought very highly of how she dressed, and she dressed well, not my vibe, not my style. I would not wear any of those things that she wore. It wasn't my body style. It wasn't my vibe style. There weren't my colors, like not my thing, right? So she keeps bringing the conversation back to how I should dress better and how I should like all of this stuff and criticizing my various outfits. And I keep bringing the conversation back to why you booked the session, which is you want to work, you know, you want to improve your entrepreneurship, your business. And it was the most like annoying 30 minutes of my life that I've ever spent on a phone call with anyone. And after the 30 minutes were over, I excused myself, hung up on that call, and I literally just sat there stunned. I was like, what the hell just happened here? Like I just sat there, like I literally need to process what had happened. I had lowered my value, lowered my worth, given someone a free 30-minute session, and because I had given the session for her for free, she didn't value it, she didn't want to get anything out of it, and she used the entire session literally to criticize how I dress. So I'm like, how do I avoid this in the future? And then I heard myself saying, I'm literally never, ever, ever available for this ever again. And the minute I said this, I heard my mom's voice. She was like, be so expensive that they have to pay, go through your team, make an appointment to see you. And so as I heard her voice, I literally went on my website, raised all of my prices, my courses, my coaching packages, my single sessions, like raised all of my prices. And in that moment, there was an energetic upgrade. I became expensive in that moment. And I said, this is never going to happen to me again, right? Like if you want to come and waste your money and talk about my clothing, you still have to pay thousands of dollars. Like you're never going to show up in front of me with your, running your mouth and where it was like a free thing for you, right? So yes, this became a physical reality in my point, but it all started with the energy transmission that my mother gave me. I know there's people that you have to deal with on a daily life, right? Like there's people we just can't avoid. Maybe you have coworkers that are like that. Maybe you have a boss that's like that, or a close family member, or an in-law. Like you can't just avoid people all the time. If you are in that situation, become energetically expensive, meaning raise the bar, raise the standard of what it takes to take away your peace, what it takes for you to let something bother you, let something annoy you. And this is going to be a work in progress, but rest assured that the more you practice this, the more your energy will actually be elevated, the more expensive you will become. Now, before I let you go, I want to offer one more huge disclaimer to this, and I think this is important. But actually, before I say this, I was telling a story within a story. I have to tell you that my Savage Feminine course, in which it's the deepest personal power activation I've ever done in a course, literally channeling my mother in that entire course, I'm adding new sessions to it in February, and the price is going to be going up soon. So if this has been on your heart, if this is calling out to you, definitely grab it now. I will leave the link in the description box as well as the comments. If you are a US citizen, there's also a firm Klarna and Afterpay available at checkout. Unfortunately, it's only available for US residents at this point, but hopefully Thinkific is going to be expanding that and offering it to more people. So sign up for that if you want to hear me saying things that you would never, ever, ever hear me saying on YouTube or Instagram or anywhere in public, because it's literally me channeling the rawest parts of my mom's teachings, okay? It's the course that my mother should have taught that I'm now teaching on my behalf, because she's, no longer in the physical reality with us. So here's the disclaimer that I want to give. Sometimes people at higher levels of inner work, or people that are spiritually bypassing, will show up on this kind of content and write comments such as, well, everyone is just a mirror of you. You should just, do mirror work and shadow work and all this stuff. Think of the average person, okay? The average person isn't walking around thinking, oh, this person is saying mean things to me, so I should do my mirror work. Like, they just don't know that stuff, right? That is the equivalent of you being in 5th grade, but deciding to stop into the 1st grade class and belittle them for what they need to hear and learn, and saying like, well, that's dumb and that's stupid. Why don't you just do this? Well, that actually makes you an idiot, because you're literally walking into a 1st grade class as a 5th grader and acting like they should know what you know. They don't know what you know because they're in 1st grade. And in the beginning of our journey, we have to learn different strategies and coping mechanisms and energy transmissions than when we are in higher evolved stages of inner work. So if you were actually doing your inner work, you would already know that, right? So that's how I know that typically people that leave comments like that are spiritual bypassers who haven't done their actual inner work. Some people at some stages need to know how to deal with these people without knowing about shadow work and mirror work. They're not there yet. At the stage that I gave you the example in the first example, when I was going through my divorce, I didn't know about inner work at that time. I didn't know about mirror work and shadow work and all of these things. I needed a real raw coping mechanism and technique that was going to elevate my energy, which my mother gave me, right? So this is for those people that are in that stage. Practice this first, elevate your energy, become energetically expensive, that no one can take your peace away from you simply by running their mouth. Become that girl, that you are the powerful one in your life. You are the one living your best life. You are putting your ducks in your row, like fixing your life, right? Like in this period of my life, yes, I was in a downturn, right? Like I was at rock bottom, going through my divorce, all that stuff, but I still had many blessings. I was running a multiple six-figure business in my early 20s. I was a student at Northwestern University. Like how many people get into that school, right? Like I was healthy. I was living in a fabulous place that I loved. I was driving my dream car. Like focus on those things and lock these people out of your life energetically. Become no longer available for them messing with your peace. All right, I love you and I'll see you in the Savage Feminine. Bye.